Hey Pete.
Hello.
What are we doing today?
I am going to repair the damaged floor in this camper. So I'm going to cut out a section down here. Looks pretty water damaged from leaking at the door, and I'll probably have to replace a little bit of the frame as well. But it shouldn't be too difficult, but it's probably going to be the only project we get done today. And there's a little bit more damage up front that I'll be cleaning up and fixing as well. All the wood underneath the sill here is rotted out. So thankfully the support, the steel support is here. So what I might actually do instead of replacing this with wood is I might use steel just to replace this section, especially around this. Because then that really won't have any ability to rot like this ever again. And it shouldn't add too much weight, especially since we're taking a lot of weight out.
Yeah.
We're going to be lighter weight than what it was previously, like how it was originally made. So we have a good amount of weight to work with. My goal is to be around like 3,500 pounds. That gives us about like a 900 to 1,000 pound payload capacity based on the specs of the original trailer. So but I think we can actually do better than that. I think we can actually be lighter, because this is actually built with pretty heavy materials for like 1998. Like it's basically 3/4 inch OSB plywood flooring.
Yeah.
And if I replace with some steel and foam, you know, I think we'll be okay weight wise. But I'll make sure we'll weigh the trailer as we go to the scale and kind of keep an eye on how we're doing on weight. And the appliances and stuff like that, we're actually going to be using lighter weight appliances than what they were then, so we should be better there as well. Yeah, this is pretty gross and rotted.
I'll take blue. I made some stripes with the color blue. Now I gotta fix it, Tim.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, is that fun? Woo! Yeah! Okay. Taking a break from the inside.
Yep, I'm letting some spray that I put down just because the ants kind of soak in. I need to give it like an hour So I figured I'd come outside since we've got new jacks, and I'm going to get them extended fairly close to make it easier for me to bolt them in, but unfortunately we were going to have to run to the hardware store and pick up some grade 8 bolts so that I can bolt these on.
Okay.
But I think it'll be a good lunchtime project. We can run to the store and get some lunch.
Excellent. We found a fly swatter apparently in the camper. No, we didn't?
Daddy said I was allowed to have the fly swatter.
Yes, you are. Alright, so we think we found the culprit
Yep,
for water.
it's the hot water heater.
Hi guys.
Hi, Everett.
I'm back here.
So the hot water heater definitely was either leaking around it, or it appears like it might have, the tank might actually be leaking. Water was leaking from the connection before I disassembled it. Thankfully those are not that expensive, so we can get ourselves, we can either do an electric or we could do the propane. Probably makes the most sense to just do a propane like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're getting new siding, since I already had to take this out, maybe we put it in a different location, like the bathroom. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But the front 2 feet of the floor across the entire thing are basically water damaged. So,
Man.
and this is what's left of the structural support here at the front.
Not much.
So just little bits.
Man.
So thankfully though, like, because the frame is right inside there, like this next part right here all the way across is supported, and this front one is supported like on the steel.
Okay.
So it just made for the floor really soft here. So we'll take it out, replace it, and it should be good. And then the front is becoming our bedroom anyway. So I was actually planning on making pass-through storage underneath the bed. So this actually, we can probably just open this hole up just a little bit more, and I can buy a pass-through storage door to use here. And then the water heater can get installed at the bathroom or underneath the sink a little bit further down. So
Okay.
yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah, and what else did we find?
Baby mouse.
We found a little friend.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call it a friend. That's not the kind of friend I want. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So we're finding so
you could grow a
much.
tree in this. This is basically like compost.
Awesome.
It's completely just soil. Yeah.
Hey, Pete.
Hello.
What you working on?
I am working on being able to put the floor back in.
Okay.
So, got all this repaired up here with some new framing and repaired the broken pieces over here. Right now they're glued and screwed, but I kind of have them just braced a little bit extra until the glue completely dries. Because one of the things about these floors and like campers in general is they rely a lot on the entirety of the structure for being sturdy. So it's not just these cross members that make this a strong floor. It's actually the fact that the floor is glued down to them, and it's glued everywhere, and then it, you know, stapled, or I'm going to screw it in. It's that complete structure that makes it a nice stiff floor. So it's a little bit of flex to it right now, but once the new OSB goes down and I glue that in and screw it in, it should be good. I'm just putting in blocking at the edge of the cut here so that there's a good location to glue down and screw it, the pieces in. So at the moment I am gluing in this blocking, just using just some construction adhesive, and let's see if I can, hopefully I got this the right size that it'll actually go in. I'm not sure that it is. I might have to, there we go. So it's nice and tight. So this will be fun to get in, but nonetheless, when I'm done, we'll have a nice stiff floor, and then we can start gutting everything else, because at this moment I think I've gotten, say, 90% of the water damage removed. So like I removed all the water damaged floor portions. I have a few more pieces to remove and replace, but this section right in front of the door, just because there's a possibility that it could leak again, I'm actually not going to replace that with wood. As far as the structure, I am going to basically weld a little steel frame and just bolt that in right there, and then I'll glue the OSB down to that. So that should make that a very rigid spot, especially since it's a really high traffic location. I just want to make sure that the repair right at the door, so those three pieces are nice and sturdy and won't flex at all. So that's where we're at.
Okay.
Alright, so right now I'm getting ready to finish the floor. So I'm starting to put insulation back down in the floor, and I'm fixing the framing that's going on here. So it should take me I think maybe about an hour, and I'll have the rest of this floor put back together, and then I can start insulating the walls, which actually we're doing with foam instead of the fiberglass. So I'm actually reusing fiberglass from the walls so that I can re-insulate the floor as I go, and then we should be done here in about an hour, and I can get back to another project.
Hey Pete,
Hello.
what you working on?
I am working on finally finishing the floor. This has been a few days coming. Ran into some setbacks, more damage to the structure than I had anticipated. So, got the hard part done up front. That's already in. Now I'm just kind of working my way down and rebuilding the rotten section. Thankfully I have the steel rail right here. So basically I'm leaving the pieces that were good up to that, and then I'm gluing and bracing pieces at that point, and then I have blocked all of the edge in between them to kind of hold that so we have a good surface to secure the new floor to. And then you know, it's
Mom,
I could do this nicer, but unfortunately with how this is, I don't really have any option other than to, like, I could rebuild the whole trailer, but then what's the point? Like,
Yeah,
so
true.
I just am doing the best I can to fix the rotted areas that need to be fixed, and get all of this in place. So hopefully when I'm done, everything will be nicely sealed up and everything. So one of the things I'm doing that's a little different though is I am making the floor, the outside is going to be semi-permeable membrane. So like this stuff that's here right now, that's fine. And then the inside is going to be airtight but also semi-permeable. And then I'm going to cap, there's a, between the rails and the bottom of the floor, this one doesn't have like that underbelly insulation, so like where the tanks are insulated, which is not good if you're going to use the trailer in cold, because then those tanks can freeze. So I'm actually going to make this trailer, the underbelly, insulated when all is done. So these outer rails are just going to be insulated the way that you see, but the stuff in the middle, I'm going to insulate the underbelly so that the tanks will become insulated, and then any of the mechanical stuff there is insulated. The benefit to that is then I don't have to run my heating duct in this space. I can actually run it through and then up through the floor. So we will have, just like in our house, we'll have floor heat registers. So I'll use heated duct, like insulated duct, and then the underbelly will also be insulated to keep the tanks warm. and we'll probably buy some tank heaters so that, you know, if we would like to use this in the wintertime, we can effectively use it in the wintertime. I'm also changing the walls from fiberglass insulation to foam insulation and air sealing those as well. So if you can see, like, this is the section that's done. As you see, I'm kind of piecing my way together to brace old rotted with, you know, repaired. The entire piece from the wheel well all the way to the front on the exterior is a new 2x2 pine. And then all of this is a mixture of poplar and pine. I had 2x2 poplar, so I'm using some 2x2 poplar and some 2x2 pine. It's wood that I've had sitting around for other miscellaneous projects. I buy a lot of this stuff because it's super cheap, and it's really good for projects that are light, like you want to be lightweight and light wood. It's not the best quality wood, but if you're willing to, you know, look through it and you're using short sections, it's actually straight enough to be fine. And with this, everything's so short, nothing's really, you know, nothing's really being damaged by any of it. So I have one more piece to put in here. I don't know if I have any pieces that are close. I do. Like, I have tons of little cutoffs that I'm just using up my scrap wood pile. So, but it's not too bad. It's nice. Like, so we did a project in our house about, oh goodness, maybe 5 years ago now, where we have a cape, and in the upstairs, I was, you know, researched for a long while, like, what kind of insulation to use, and then I came to the conclusion that there was no option but to use spray foam. So I'm a huge fan of foam, but not so much of spray foam as much anymore. I really like either the polystyrene or the EPS, or the like SIP panels. So the structural insulated panels, and those are very nice. So the modern panels that you see today on campers, so like I've spent a lot of time looking at what they are, because my familiarity comes from like working in general contracting. So my family owned a general contractor for a large portion of my childhood, and homes and these are very different, but there's a lot of similarities. And the modern trailers are actually essentially structural insulated panels. It's a piece of wood glued to foam, and then on the other side it's glued to wood, and then you have an exterior cladding, which they use, I think it's called FRP, and I'm not entirely sure what that material is, but I think it's some kind of fiberglass reinforced plastic of some type. here's the trouble. I don't remember where the cross pieces are.